Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about this intense time of transition that we're in, how we can navigate that, and what wisdom this upcoming full moon on November 15th has for us in terms of how we can work with these stormy times that we're in. Many of us here in the US have felt the turbulence of this week and the extreme polarization in people's responses to the presidential election. And we know that this polarization, turbulence is happening all around the globe right now. We are in a very tumultuous time of transition. And I do believe these next few months in particular will continue to be intense, in that a few days after this full moon on November 15th, on November 19th, Pluto will be moving fully into Aquarius. And as I've talked about in many of my earlier videos, I see that as a critical threshold point for us in moving more fully into the age of Aquarius. We're also, as I discussed with Bibhu Dev Misra, coming to the end of the Kali Yuga period, which will end in March of 2025. We're in these incredible times of transition into the age of Aquarius, out of the Kali Yuga, the time of darkness, being in ignorance, back into an acceleration of ascending consciousness. But in the midst of this transition and transformation, I think we're seeing some of the darkest of the dark. At the same time, we're seeing this accelerated growth of the light that is coming to us from the cosmic energies of the galactic center, the light that's coming to us through the sun from this powerful galactic sheet we're moving through right now, the photon belt. We're being infused with these energies of light and higher consciousness to guide us into this transition and transformation, into becoming homoluminous ones, to moving into a new earth together. But in the midst of this transition, and in the midst of the influx of this light, it's also revealing what's been in the shadows. It's bringing to the surface what is needing to clear in order for us to move into these new forms. So we're seeing that level of extremes on the planet right now. Some of the most intense shadow aspects of humanity, and this incredible awakening and movement into higher consciousness that so many of us are also feeling. So how do those of us who are working this time consciously navigate this stormy time? One practice that I think is enormously helpful is the medicine wheel practice. And I have put out a video about how you can work that meditation process, how you can do that walking meditation with your own medicine wheel. And I think part of what's so helpful about that practice is when you're working with the medicine wheel, you step into the wheel, either through your meditation or through building a simple medicine wheel outside and walking the medicine wheel. But when you step into that medicine wheel, you step into sacred space. And then you walk the wheel. And if you're needing to release energies, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, start that practice by going counterclockwise around the wheel. And allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, to release it, to be opening to the healing energies of the medicine wheel. But part of what's beautiful about the medicine wheel practice is then when you walk it, coming back to energize the medicine wheel and the directions and those healing energies, you walk it clockwise. And as you walk that medicine wheel, you're honoring all that you feel, all of the aspects of yourself. Don't bypass anything. Don't try to override your experience. Honor all those feelings, and then you let them go. as you walk into the center of the medicine wheel and come into that alignment with your soul consciousness and with the consciousness of the cosmos. Then from that place in the center of the medicine wheel, you're in the eye of the storm, honoring all that you feel, honoring all the turbulence that's going on around you, but finding that still point in the center, that place of healing, that place of alignment with your soul self, with the consciousness of the cosmos, which is where we find that place of peace. And then when we're in alignment with our soul self, we are guided moment by moment in how to navigate the complexities and turbulence of our lives and of this transition time on the planet. But let's look at the energies of this upcoming full moon, because it is also profoundly guiding us in how we can be navigating this time of transition. Let me show you the chart. So as you can see at the time of the full moon on November 15th, the moon will be at 24 degrees of Taurus opposite the sun at 24 degrees of Scorpio. And what is very powerful in the time of this full moon is that the moon will be conjunct Uranus, also in a conjunction with Sedna, which I'll talk more about in a minute. But the moon is also in connection with the other two transpersonal planets. Remember that Uranus, Neptune, Pluto are our outermost planets in the inner solar system and are known as the transpersonal planets. These are the planets that guide us in connecting with our soul selves, in moving into higher consciousness. Remember that Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. And as I've been talking about, we're now in this powerful opposition between Pluto and Mars, and they'll be in a dance together across the next few months. And as of November 4th, Mars has moved from being in the sign of Cancer. It's now in the sign of Leo, but still in an out of sign opposition with Pluto. But I think it is particularly powerful that this full moon is showing the activation of our alignment with these energies of the transpersonal planets. The moon is conjunct Uranus, sextiling Neptune, trining Pluto. And I've talked in earlier videos about how important it is, significant it is, that these three outer planets have been in these supportive, significant aspects with each other. Pluto is sextiling Neptune. Neptune is sextiling Uranus. Neptune is actually the midpoint between Uranus and Pluto. So they're collaborating together, they're cooperating together. And with Neptune as the midpoint in the sign that it's the ruler of, Pisces, it is guiding us in how we release what we need to release from the ways of the past that no longer serve us, to open to this higher spiritual consciousness, to open to compassion, to open to the energy of oneness, Neptune in Pisces. But let's look more in depth at how they're guiding us as they're activating the energies of this full moon. And with the moon in Taurus, it's about how are we embodying these energies? How are we, Sun in Scorpio, in this time of transformation and embodying the energies of these outermost transpersonal planets? So I do believe that as we can use these energies of these outer planets as guides and way showers. They're helping us navigate this time of transition. As Dane Rudhyar said in one of his books, think of these outer planets as the avatars, as the guides, the ones who are supporting us in how to go through this time of transformation. So let me talk a little bit about the meaning of these outermost planets and how we can integrate their energies. As we're in this turbulent time, we're all feeling the energies coming to us that are guiding us in transformation. But how we work with these energies and how we work with these three transpersonal planets that are supporting us in that shift depends on our level of consciousness. So these powerful planets can either support us in moving into higher consciousness and being aligned with our soul selves, or if we're not working with them consciously, or we're in identification with our egos, then we're apt to be destabilized by these energies or manifest the shadow aspects of them. So let's talk about the gifts of these outer planets and the shadow aspects. Uranus is that planet of truth and justice, cutting through illusion to see to the heart of things. It's now in Taurus, an earth sign, so it's guiding us to honor the truth and wisdom coming to us from the earth as well as coming to us from the sky. But Uranus, being that higher octave of Mercury, is how are we aligning our minds with divine mind, with the truth and justice and awareness of cosmic consciousness. So all these transpersonal planets are asking us to step out of ego into alignment with our soul selves and into alignment with the wisdom of the earth and the wisdom of the sky, and ultimately to be in alignment with cosmic consciousness. Those are the energies that are guiding us through this time of transformation, that are holding us, supporting us. We are being carried by energies larger than ourselves. And it's important to align ourselves with those energies by being in connection with our hearts and in attunement to our soul self, so that we're aligning with those energies in a way that then is supporting us in moving into higher consciousness. So Uranus is about truth, capital T, truth. And how do we know what's true when we're bombarded by the cacophony of what's going on around us and social media and efforts to manipulate our thinking? We're seeing a lot of the shadow aspects of Uranus playing out in the world right now. The shadow aspect of Uranus is if we're connecting our ego self with that Uranian energy. Then it can become, instead of I align my mind with divine mind, it becomes my mind is divine. What I say, what I think is right. That's ego trying to control Uranus, a transpersonal planet. And then what we tend to see with that out of balance expression of Uranus is grandiosity, is this disruption of forms and structures, not out of reform and a longing for justice, which is the deeper meaning of Uranus, but then it can be destruction for destruction's sake, shattering things to shatter things. So remember that the deeper meaning of Uranus, as Richard Tarnas talks about in his book, Prometheus, the Awakener, the deeper meaning of Uranus is how do we open to that truth and justice of cosmic consciousness to be agents of reform, of standing for justice and truth in the world. These are transpersonal planets that are guiding us in how to bring that energy of higher consciousness into embodiment. The meaning of moving into higher consciousness in this time, the meaning of our accelerated process of moving into ascension, is not about leaving the planet. It's not about exiting from our bodies or what's going on around us. It's about bringing those energies of these transpersonal planets into embodiment, to be holding and embodying and manifesting those energies here on the earth plane. So when we align our soul selves with the energies of Uranus, we align with truth and justice and fairness, and we emanate that out to all around us. What is the energy of Pluto in this time? This full moon is trining Pluto. Pluto has been in this final degree of Capricorn, deconstructing the systems and structures that need to be torn down in order for us to move into the Aquarian age. We're moving into Pluto in Aquarius 4 days after this full moon. Pluto in Capricorn is saying, allow yourself to release what needs to be released, to be in this time of transition and transformation, to be going through this death rebirth into new forms, into the new forms of the Aquarian age, which are about collaboration, community, being in right relationship with each other. So Pluto is supporting us in that time of transformation. But when Pluto is out of balance, is worked with unconsciously or at a lower level of consciousness, then we're aligning our ego self with this transpersonal energy of Pluto. And then Pluto becomes the manifestation of abuse of power or power over, or the experience of powerlessness and being traumatized and feeling that we're being victimized by the abuse of power. So all of these transpersonal energies can play out in their extremes if they're manifesting in an out of balanced way because of how we're aligning our consciousness with these transpersonal energies. So Pluto is about power, but at its deepest level, Pluto is about being in the time of transformation to find the true gold in who we are, to be burning away what no longer serves us, what is not in alignment with our soul self, so that we are then empowered in living out that true gold of who we are and our alignment with soul consciousness. As Jeffrey Wolf Green has talked about, Pluto guides us in our evolutionary journey to be in alignment with our soul self and our soul's purpose. Where Pluto is for all of us in the sky, in the sign that it's in, is guiding us in what is our collective journey of soul's evolution and consciousness. And as Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's about how are we collectively aligning with and manifesting these energies of the Aquarian age. But remember that this time that we're in is also about our inner transformation, that we can't look to someone or something outside of ourselves to be saving us or breaking down the old systems and bringing us into that Aquarian age. The Aquarian age is about the sovereignty of the self in the sanctity of community and in collaboration with cosmic consciousness. So we are being called with this Pluto energy at the time of this full moon to burn away what no longer serves us, to be in alignment with our soul self so that we're empowered in that connection with cosmic consciousness, empowered with that energy of my will in alignment with divine will. And as Mars is in this opposition with Pluto, we're all being encouraged to find that alignment and to clear the ways that our actions or self-expression is out of alignment with cosmic consciousness, and to come back into that way in which we are acting and speaking and expressing ourselves from alignment with cosmic consciousness, from alignment with our soul selves. Pluto out of balance is power over, abuse, traumatization. It is about conquest, killing, domination. We're seeing as we move out of Pluto and Capricorn into Pluto and Aquarius, into the Aquarian age, as we're moving through this final phase of the Kali Yuga, we are seeing the final gasp of the old power over paradigms. We are seeing the final efforts of the patriarchal period to cling to power. Know that as Pluto is moving into Aquarius, as we're moving out of the Kali Yuga, those ways of the past, that imbalance of power, that abuse of power will end. It will end. It may be a messy transition, and we can choose individually and collectively how we work with this transition and how turbulent and traumatic it is, versus if we're working it consciously, if we're aligning with our soul selves, then we're moving rapidly into these new paradigms and new forms and into new ways of being in community that are about collaboration, mutuality, justice, compassion, truth. Neptune is the midpoint between Uranus and Pluto. Neptune is sextiling this full moon. Neptune in Pisces at its highest expression is we dissolve our ego and what's out of alignment to be fully in our soul selves, to remember the oneness of all that is. And then our hearts, our ability to love is in alignment with divine love, with the love of cosmic consciousness that then flows through us. And we then are engaged in interacting with each other from a place of compassion and love and empathy. We remember that we're all interconnected. We are all part of the oneness of all that is. So these transpersonal planets are supporting us in how to remember that deeper alignment with our soul selves and how then we can express that and live from that. But Neptune out of balance can be getting caught in illusion, delusion, feeling manipulated, feeling powerless, overwhelmed, anxious. We lose a sense of self. We end up feeling like we're at sea in the fog with no rudder and no direction. That is the shadow aspect of Neptune. And then it can lead us into either a longing to escape or getting caught in manipulation and giving our power away. We need to, at this time, do whatever we can do to be grounding ourselves, doing the inner work to come into alignment with our soul self, to then align with these powerful transpersonal energies that are guiding us in feeling held and supported by the consciousness of the cosmos, to be in truth, to honor justice, to be in right relationship, to know the empowerment of living from our soul selves, to be in that sovereignty of self, in connection, in community, and then to come to that alignment with Neptune guiding us in remembering the oneness of all that is and living from that place of love, living from our hearts and manifesting that love that is the love of the cosmos for us. Then we're in that sacred community with and for each other. So, in the midst of this turbulent time, we need to do the inner work to be in alignment with these energies so that we are living from truth, love, empowerment, in alignment with our soul selves. But we're seeing a lot of the out of balance manifestations of these energies all around us. And it creates this storminess and turbulence and confusion. But if we can come to the center of the medicine wheel and come back into that place of inner stillness and peace as we align with our soul selves, then we feel that connection, that alignment with cosmic consciousness. Remember, when we're in the center of the medicine wheel, we're connecting down to the core of the earth and her wisdom and consciousness. We're connecting up through our crown chakra to the galactic center, to the cosmic consciousness. And then we're coming to that center in our hearts where we're connected to that unified field, that understanding of truth and love and empowerment in alignment with our soul selves and cosmic consciousness. So we need to keep coming back to the center of the medicine wheel. And when we're in that place of centeredness and when we're in that alignment with our soul selves, then we're able to discern moment by moment how to act. And we're able to discern where to put our energies and who to be connecting with. As we move into the Aquarian energy with Pluto in Aquarius, it's guiding us to connect more and more with our soul tribe. That is where we feel that connection of power with and for each other versus power over or powerlessness and that sense of being disempowered. We need to do the inner work to be empowered in alignment with our soul consciousness, and then we can connect to our soul tribe and find that sense of power with and for each other to live out these new paradigms that are about our moving into higher consciousness, moving into collaboration, co-creating a new world together. Then we can hold fast to that in the midst of the turbulence around us, because the turbulence will not be resolved by a power outside of us. It is about honoring our own empowerment and being empowered with and for each other, and ultimately being empowered by the energies of these transpersonal planets and of cosmic consciousness. Let me show you a few other things in the chart that I think are very important about this full moon, and then we'll look at where these energies are in the sky. There's so much we could talk about in this full moon chart, but I want to highlight the core themes to guide us in how we can be aligning with these transpersonal energies to support us in living from soul consciousness. And another critical point in this full moon chart is Sedna, which is now in connection with Uranus and the full moon. Sedna's now just moved into Gemini, but again, I don't pay too much attention to the sign that Sedna's in, because this is that Oort cloud planetary being who has an orbit that's almost 11,500 years. So she is, as I've talked about, the messenger of these larger shifts that we're in, the messenger of this shift in the precessional cycle. And remember that Sedna, that Inuit goddess in her own journey, was the one who was in her own process of spiritual initiation. She had followed Raven and was being guided into her own journey of transformation when her father tried to bring her back to the village, tried to pull her back into the old paradigms. And when Raven set off the storm and the seas became stormy and turbulent, her father threw her out of the boat in order to try to save himself. And when Sedna tried to grab onto the boat and get back in, her father hit her hands with his paddle until he broke off her fingers, and they went into the sea and became the seals and the whales and the life of the sea. But a critical part of that story of Sedna was Sedna's realization: I can't go back to the village. I can't go back to the paradigms of the past. She was on her own journey of spiritual initiation and transformation. When we're going through this profound shift that we're in on the planet, there is no going back to the forms of the past. There is no security in that. And she realized in the stormy seas, there is no security in my father's boat. My father is not the answer. There's no external rescuer who's going to save me from this storm. There is no safety in the boat. There is no safety in the forms of the past. And I believe that in that moment, Sedna surrendered to the transformation that she was in and dove deep beneath the storm-tossed waves. And then Sedna transformed. She went through this process of transmutation and became the goddess of the deep sea. We are in this time with Sedna guiding us in how to realize we can't go back to the forms of the past. The ways of the fathers and the patriarchal period are not going to save us. We're in a world right now where there are male authoritarian leaders in so many countries who are trying to take control, have power over, and say, I am the savior, I am the answer, I will create order out of chaos. And instead, we're seeing a world in more and more turbulence and chaos because the patriarchal paradigms are ending. We're seeing the last gasp of them, but they are ending. And Sedna is reminding us there is no safety there. Don't cling to the boat. Don't think you're going to be taken back to the paradigms of the past and the ways of the fathers, and there you'll find security. Sedna is reminding us to let go and dive into the energies of the ocean, of Pisces, of the oneness that are guiding us in how to surrender the ways of the past, dissolve into this new way of being, and realize that we can become these beings of higher consciousness, homo luminous ones. We are dissolving from our ways of understanding who we've been as humans into this whole new evolutionary form. And Sedna is guiding the way, saying, trust, dive into the deep waters, and know that you're held and carried and will be transmuted and transformed by these energies larger than yourself. Then as we look at just a few other points in the chart, that Kuiper Belt object, Salacia, is still conjunct the North Node. And remember, her meaning is about being connected to the energies of the sea, of the oceans. But what I love about her is Her meaning is about the calm sea that is reflecting the light of the sun. She's guiding us in knowing that as we move through this stormy time, and with Sedna's help, let go of the boat and dive beneath the stormy seas, we can come to that place of calm and stillness and find that we then are reflecting and emanating these energies of light and higher consciousness. That is what we're being guided toward. And what can help us to be in that process? I think it's very significant now that the asteroid Vesta is conjunct the South Node. It went into a 5-degree orb with the South Node in Libra, starting at the end of October, and will be there until November 19th, as Pluto moves into Aquarius. Vesta is the asteroid that has to do with the sacred hearth. It is about the sacred inner fires within us and how we keep those inner flames, that inner fire alive. I also see Vesta, that asteroid, as very connected to the energies and wisdom of the goddess Bridget, who was a pre-patriarchal goddess throughout old Europe. Bridget was the goddess who guides us across the threshold in times of transition and transformation. Bridget is the goddess of fire and water, the goddess of healing, and the goddess who helps us connect with the fires, the sacred fires of cosmic consciousness, to keep those fires alive within us. How profound that Vesta, the goddess Bridget, are supporting us, holding us, helping us as we're crossing this threshold on November 19th into the Aquarian age, Pluto in Aquarius. And she is saying, you're held, you're supported. Align your inner fire with the fires of cosmic consciousness and know that you're being held and carried through this time of turbulence. The Sabian symbols, the meaning of the degree of the sun and moon at the time of this full moon, are truly profound and summarize how we can be working with the wisdom and guidance of these transpersonal planets. The sun at 24 degrees of Scorpio, the meaning of that Sabian symbol is an X-ray. How do we perceive what's beneath the surface of life's illusions to know the mysteries? How do we look beneath the turbulence of this time and the illusions that are bombarding us to see the deeper truth of the mysteries and the wisdom of cosmic consciousness? That energy of the sun is beaming to the moon, and the meaning of the full moon is a large, well-kept public park. How do we integrate our inner guidance, our attunement to nature, to be in collaborative community with each other and with the life around us? So as we allow the energies of this full moon to help us move beneath the surface of the storminess, the cacophony, the discord of this time, then we see and perceive the mysteries, the wisdom of cosmic consciousness that then guides us in how we can be in right alignment with the energies of the earth and sky and come in to collaborative community with each other to then manifest and emanate these energies of the transpersonal planets, to be in alignment with our soul selves, in alignment with cosmic consciousness, living in right relationship and harmony with each other and all that is, to emanate that and to be creating and co-creating these new paradigms for the new earth. May Bridget guide us across the threshold, help us attune to our inner fire, connected to the fires of cosmic consciousness to support us through this time. Now let's look at where these energies are in the sky. At the time of this full moon, the sun, and remember the full moon is reflecting back the energy of the light of the sun. So what is the energy that this full moon is reflecting at the time of this full moon on November 15th? The sun is in the midst of the stars of Libra. Remember, the deeper meaning of Libra is that understanding of Ma'at, that ancient Egyptian principle of everything is meant to be in right balance, right harmony with everything else. This is about being in alignment with those energies of cosmic consciousness. In ancient cultures that remembered that understanding of being in right relationship with all that is, that understanding that everything in the cosmos is meant to be in harmony, in right balance. This is the understanding of a healthy ecosystem. This is the understanding of being in the song of the spheres of the cosmos, being in that right harmony. We're in a way now as humanity where we're in a lot of discordance, a lot of chaos, a lot of being out of alignment with right relationship. But this energy of Libra, of Ma, is reminding us how to come back in to balance and alignment. When we're connected to our soul self, then we're in right relationship with all that is around us. When we're in alignment with soul consciousness, then we're working with these energies of Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, to be manifesting words, actions, ways of being, ways of relating that are in harmony, are in balance, are a manifestation of right relationship. So as you're navigating this stormy time, see what's going on around you. Do your inner work and look at the fruits of what you see in others' actions and words and ways of relating. Is it fostering balance? Is it fostering harmony? Is it fostering right relationship? And if not, then it's not coming from higher consciousness. It's not coming from soul consciousness. I think it's profound in ancient Egypt, before Egypt got caught in the patriarchal period, and we had more and more pharaohs who became warrior kings, like Ramses II, caught very much up in conquest, power over, domination. But in the more ancient times, when the people were living out of spiritual consciousness, then there was this understanding that the leaders and all the people were meant to live in Ma'at, by Ma'at, for Ma'at, in balance, for right relationship, to be in harmony with all that is. I love Elizabeth Satoris's work. She's been a mentor to me and become a beloved friend. And her constant theme is that we as humans need to wake up and mature and come into connection with the wisdom of the earth and the animals and plants and life creatures of the earth that are guiding us in how to be interdependent, interconnectedness in harmony with each other. We are still caught in an immature level of development that is survival of the fittest, conquer or be conquered. And we're seeing that extreme playing out around the globe right now. And we need to come back into that awareness that we are a part of the web of life and interconnected with each other and all of the life around us. And when we remember that, then we live in Ma'at, in right relationship, in harmony and balance. And in ancient Egypt, if things got stormy culturally or if the weather was out of balance, they looked at themselves and said, how are we out of balance? How is our leader out of balance? Because if we're living in right harmony, then that would be fostering this harmonious energy in us and all around us. So as we're navigating this stormy time, pay attention to how you're in alignment with these energies of Ma'at, of harmony, balance, right relationship, and connect with those around you who are also manifesting that energy. If you see situations or groups or people that are manifesting division, discord, destruction, imbalance, don't align your energies there. Find your soul tribe where there is that empowerment in living in right relationship and in balance and harmony. At the time of the full moon on November 15th, the moon will be conjunct Uranus, now in the stars of Taurus, very close to the Pleiades. This is a beautiful placement. Not only is this full moon helping us align with and be energized by and supported with these transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, but with the full moon and Uranus close to the stars of the Pleiades, I truly believe the Pleiadians are some of our most supportive galactic allies, guiding us through this time of transition, reminding us of the energy of love and of truth and of balance, and helping us move into higher consciousness. Remember that we are a part of a binary star system. So our solar system dances in this movement with Sirius, the brightest star in our sky. And then together, we orbit around the stars of the Pleiades in this larger movement around the galactic center. So the Pleiades guide us in this larger cycle of transformation and change. Sirius, our binary star, guides us in the precessional cycle, that 24,000 year process of evolutionary growth and change. And the Pleiades guide us in this even larger 250 million orbit around the galactic center. So the Pleiades are saying, remember this higher consciousness, remember your connection with Source, with the galactic center. Come back into right alignment. When we're in alignment with our soul selves, we're connected to those energies of the galaxy. We're connected to cosmic consciousness, and we can ground that here as we're also connecting to the wisdom of the earth. This time of ascension is not about disconnecting from the earth and embodiment. And, even in the midst of these stormy times, I must say, being a Star Trek fan, I've had my moments of beam me up, Scotty. Take me to some other planet that is not so turbulent. But truly, these transpersonal planets, these energies of the Pleiades, are not saying leave the turbulence and rise above. They're saying be here, but be here in higher consciousness. Be here in alignment with soul consciousness. Be here in embodiment. in alignment with truth, in alignment with love, in alignment with the wisdom of cosmic consciousness. Then you find your true empowerment. Then you discern who's a part of your soul tribe. Then together, in community, in collaboration, we emanate these energies and paradigms of the Aquarian age and of higher consciousness. And then we're co-creating a new world together. It comes, the start of the journey is within, coming back to the center within ourselves, to our hearts, in alignment with soul consciousness. And then we find our heart connections with our soul tribe. And then we support each other, empower each other, align with each other to emanate these energies of truth and justice and love and empowerment in soul consciousness. Let these energies be your avatars. Let these energies be your guides. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, as the Hopi would have said. Not someone outside of us or something outside of us, but we are the ones that we've been waiting for, that will have this capacity supported by these transpersonal energies to co-create a new world together. So keep coming back to the center of the medicine wheel, and may we keep connecting with each other, remembering that we are a soul tribe together, and we are on this path of awakening, of healing, of transformation, of transmutation into higher consciousness and a new world. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.